Hey, this is Daniel for Adorama Pro. Today on set we're using tilt-shift lenses to get some special effects and portraits. I'm working with Spencer here. We're going to make some portraits of him, an environmental portrait in the store. One of the first things I do when I'm trying to do an environmental portrait is I get an exposure for the actual environment. So I'm going to ask Spencer to step out for a second. And I'm going to use just the camera's meter and take a few shots to get where I want to be exposure-wise. That could be a little bit darker than I want per se. I'm going to open up my shutter a little bit. Maybe too light. We'll split the difference here. Because I think that's a pretty good place for it to be. I don't want the store to be really super bright because it's going to take away from him, and not so dark that he's in the middle of nowhere. Step in, Spencer, for me. So the next step is I'm going to just turn on my light here. I've set up a Chimera softbox, a Super Video Pro Plus, with a Triolet inside. This is just fitted with a photo flood, 500 watt photo flood, and also with a dimmer. Now that I know my exposure for the store, I need to make a photo of Spencer. I'm not going to worry too much about composition or anything right now, because what I need to do is figure out his exposure. So that's very bright. I can actually use the dimmer to bring down my light slightly. Okay, so then we make another exposure. Okay, that's much better. Okay, so now the other issue that I am faced with right now is that Spencer's a little bit taller than I am, so I'm cutting off the top of his head. I could take the camera and tilt it back to get his whole head in the shot. However, now I'm basically shooting up at him and he looks pretty angry and like a giant. So what I'm going to use, since we have it affixed to the camera, is this tilt shift lens, or perspective control lens from Nikon. This is 85. On the side here is a shift. So what I'm able to do is I loosen the lock, which is on the other side. I can actually bring the lens up and down, just kind of like an old school view camera. And that's actually going to allow me to keep the camera at the same level, but get more of him in my shot. So let me throw it on the live view here so you can see it. So right now I'm in live view. You can see the effect. I'm not moving the camera at all. I'm just adjusting the lens. So that looks about right to me. Oh, I'm going to lock it so it doesn't move on me. And we'll go out of live view for a second, back to here. Okay, and let's make a photo like that. And it's much better. The other thing besides shifting you can do is tilting. So that's this control up here. By loosening the lock here and adjusting the tilt, I can actually change the focal plane, the position of the focal plane. This is going to allow me to knock things more or less, in focus. Since I'm using it here more as a special effect than as a way to fix anything, I'm going to actually turn the lens slightly, which is going to change where the focus is. If I just did it the other way, then the top and bottom would be out of focus, but I kind of wanted to have a slice of focus. So I'm going to do it like this. I'm just going to go all the way extreme and see what it looks like. Good. These are manual focus lenses, so you just have to kind of be wary of that. So what I'm able to do here, I'm going to go into the enlargement, is I'm able to keep his eye like in really tack sharp focus, and then bring around, like you can see the side of his face, which is at the same plane, is coming out. And just adding a nice kind of soft effect down by his chin. This can be amplified by being closer to him or by coming at more of an angle. So if I want to really amplify the effect, instead of shooting straight on, I can actually bring my camera more to the side. All right, so I came a little bit more to the side to create an even more dramatic effect. Look, you've got over here, again, his eye is sharp. That's actually the exact focus spot right there. When we come around here, it's like dropping off really dramatically into here. I can actually blow the whole picture up so we can see better. So we really have this kind of interesting drop-off where the face comes out of focus, and it's kind of an effect it's not exactly a blur, so it's not something you can really just add in post. It's got really a kind of an organic feel to it, and I can move around the spot where it's focused or not just by moving the camera or the lens or even my subject within the field. So now my lens is straight again. I'm just going side to side. This is now going to knock off either side of the image in focus. I can also spin it this way. The whole lens turns. And this is going to allow me to knock top or bottom out. So if, let's say I want to focus on his eyes and not his shirt, let's say. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring the camera up though here because you lose that other movement when you do that. Okay, here we go. Looking right at me, strong eyes. Good. So now, again, I've focused here on his eyes, and you can see like around his mouth area, all around this area is really kind of intensely blurred out. And with the mood and the fact that you can throw somebody, it gives a feeling of unrest. So you can use that for effect or in your image. You can also use these lenses for product photography. It's really popular for that. You can add depth of focus. Earlier we were shooting a book where we showed that half the text was out of focus, but by using the tilt feature we were able to get the whole page in focus. It's also used a lot in architectural photography to fix leading lines. Okay, so these Nikon PC lenses, and Canon has, they call them tilt shift, are amazing. They're not the most inexpensive lenses you can buy. If you're just looking to create special effects, you can also try Lensbaby. We were working with that earlier. They're not nearly as precise, not nearly as sharp, but you can get the kind of knock things out of focus special effects look with those. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next OnSet.